My perfect mom died and my awful dad replaced her in 1 month with an horrible woman. Now she wants me to forget about my mom too. My mom and I were extremely close and she was my best friend. I looked up to her so much and I always aspired to be just like her, but she passed away when I was 14. I took it very hard and I miss her every day. It felt like the better half of me had died and I struggled to deal with her death. My dad on the other hand moved on extremely quickly. In just 1 month, he was openly dating his current wife. The fact he moved on so quickly made me suspect he was cheating on my mom and saw her death as an opportunity to date the other woman. 4 months later, she moved in and it felt like she was actively replacing my mom. At first, I thought it was just resentment or hatred I had for her, so I was reading too much into things. But 9 months after my mom's death, my dad and her announced their engagement on my birthday as one of my gifts. It was already bad enough that I had to spend my first birthday without my mom, so I didn't handle the news well at all. I made such a huge scene, dumped the cake they got me which had the wrong age on it and my name was misspelled, and walked out. I disappeared for a few days and even thought of running away permanently, but I heard that they were about to put out a missing persons/runaway report, so I was forced to go back. It seemed like they didn't even care that I was gone despite the report because they were too busy getting rid of all the evidence that my mom existed and had married my dad. All of her pictures and personal items were gone. Luckily, I went back in time and was able to keep what I could find and hide them. Soon, it was like my mom had never lived here and they didn't want anyone to talk about her. My mom's side of the family was completely cut off, which they didn't mind too much since they hated him for moving on so quickly. They wouldn't even let me celebrate her birthday or mourn on her death date. Then, they tried to force me to call my dad's wife mom. I never did and they would get angry. I always did my best not to address her or talk to her, but the few times where I absolutely had to, I would say her name. She would always laugh it off sarcastically and say, "Dear, we're family, you can call me mom." I was upfront with her about it and said she wasn't my mom, then I would get yelled at by my dad. She would go as far as introducing herself as my mom to new people and I was always quick to correct her. Once, they spent 2 weeks not talking to me because I was ruining their family dynamic and I was hurting my dad's wife's feelings by not calling her mom. They'd tell me, "Until you can be a part of the family, there is nothing to say or do as one." They caved at about the 15th day of no communication/interaction. When I turned 18, I left for college and went extremely low contact with them. It was amazing to not deal with their BS all the time. When I was 21, I got engaged to my fiancée and she knew everything that happened. Because of that, she never wanted to meet them, which was good because I didn't want her to be around them at all. Somehow, my dad and his wife found out and they threw a fit. My dad's wife posted on social media saying she was excited that her son, me, was getting married and she can't wait until she becomes a grandma. I made a short post saying I am not and never was her son, and she won't be a grandma to any future kids. My dad got mad and reached out to tell me I was disrespecting my mother and embarrassed her. I asked who we were talking about because my only mother was long gone and at this point, I had lost both my parents when I was 14. I went back to no contact with them after that and it's been 3 years since we talked. Since then, my fiancée and I actually got married and she is now 8 months pregnant. My dad and his wife weren't invited to the wedding, so I'm guessing they found all of this out through Facebook. Pictures my guests posted. Just yesterday, they showed up at my house, though I never gave them my address, and they demanded to meet my wife. I didn't let them because we wanted nothing to do with them. I told them to turn around and go back to where they came from. That's when they dropped the biggest bombshell on me. They moved 5 minutes away from US. My dad's wife said she missed her son and wanted to be a better mom and grandma. I called them delusional and told them I never want to see them ever again.